Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk, the Scout Report. Time to look ahead again. This weekend, we have Charlton Athletic coming to New York Stadium. We have Louis from Charlton Live joining us to give us a lowdown. How's it going, Louis?
Yeah, not too bad, Matt. How are you?
Very, very good. Good to speak to you again. I think this is the first time I've spoken to me on the second fixture so far this season. So let's go back to that draw in September. It felt like a good point for us at the time because we had a slow start. You had a decent start. How have things gone sort of since then for Charlton? Because you dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, to put it kindly, yeah. Not long after sort of that game we had against you, I think we went and beat Shrewsbury in the league, and then went on a really bad run. Like lost three in a row. Then weirdly became the first team to beat Birmingham, and everyone's like, right, we're back now. And then went on and only won one in the next 9 or so, something like that. We've been really up and down over the course of the season. It's been quite a fraught campaign at stages, but you just feel like that we've turned the corner a little bit now. Starting just before Christmas, really. I think we're 6 unbeaten now in League One. But more importantly than that, we're quite clearly playing better football. I remember the game we played against you guys at the Valley, and there was a lot of accusations in that game that Charlton were a bit over-reliant on the long ball, and that's something that became a bit of a theme throughout stages of this season. But we look a different side now. We look one that actually have the ability to play the ball through the midfield and actually use a bit of pace and width as well to try and create chances. So, yeah, fingers crossed. I think we've turned the corner recently.
And it's that time of the season. If you can turn it now, obviously nobody's going to go and beat them between now and end of the season. But if it's clicked now and you can maybe have a decent January, playoffs are still well within touch, really.
Yeah, I mean, we've given ourselves a mountain to climb, obviously. I think we're 7 points off it now. There's all games in hand here and there that obviously throw things into the mix as well. But, I mean, we're behind where we need to be in terms of points per game. But, if we continue a good run, then we can catch up with it. I think we probably have given ourselves too much to do, purely because, it's a good run that started before Christmas, and it will have to be very consistent for the rest of the season. But, if I'm clutching, we've had the last 3 seasons or so have all just been mid-table, boring seasons, albeit every now and then with a slight hint of relegation danger chucked in to make things slightly more exciting. But overall, we've just relatively had nothing to play for too long. So I've decided this season I'm not fully thrown in the towel yet, and just hoping that, like you say, this run and these performances can continue. And we're not expecting much in January, but if they can pick up 1 or 2, then maybe that might make a difference as well.
Yeah. Well, Steve Evans keeps talking us up to be challenging for the playoffs by the end of January. So if we're in with it, then you guys definitely are, based on Steve Evans' logic. When we spoke last time, it was just after the Nathan Jones off his nut comment. I haven't seen anything from him since, really. Has he calmed down, or have I just not noticed anything?
He hasn't done anything quite so worthy of going viral, but I mean, he's had quite an eventful season in terms of his interviews after the game with us. He's mainly digging out the fans quite a lot, which has been quite an interesting one. So, as I mentioned, we went on that 3-game losing streak before then beating Birmingham. And during the losing streak, I mean, even at the start of the season when we'd started quite well, a lot of fans were a bit concerned, as referenced about the playing style, and that it couldn't be, it wouldn't last. Basically, it wasn't sustainable. And then when we went on that 3-game losing streak and things started to look a bit hairy, then obviously some questions were raised and people had said, "Oh, why is so and so not playing?" and this and that. After we beat Birmingham, Nathan said, if the fans would rather pick the team themselves, I'll take my money and I'll leave. Sort of threatened to leave. And then obviously, like I say, after that, we went on another streak without really winning many games. And up until recent, I think we lost at Crawley was a real turning point. There was like booing of the manager and big concerns, and we went and drew the next 2-0, and after having improved a bit, and you could see they were playing the ball a bit more, but obviously wins weren't coming. And I said to Nathan after a game, like, it's 1 win in 9 now, and before I could even get the rest of my question out, he sort of stopped to say, well, it's 2 in 10. I was like, right, okay, so okay, whatever. So then he answered, and then sort of answered his question, and then sort of forgot about it. And then when we beat Wickham, which made it 3 wins on the spin, He started reading out all these stats, and he had a little dig back saying, "Oh, you're quick enough to tell me it's 1 win in 9. Here's all the stats of us, winning 3 games in a row, clean sheets and all that." So whilst also having a go at the fans, like saying that the players have been vilified and that sort of stuff. So he's had a bit of an uncomfortable relationship with the supporters at times, but I think that's just the way Nathan is. And we know football fans, they'll forgive anything if we start winning games again. So at the moment, everyone's pretty calm with the way things are going.
I was looking at the league table and the goals conceded and whatnot. There's not many teams conceded less than us this season, but Charlton are one of them. Only 21 goals conceded in the 23 games. I assume that's a staple of the team, and hopefully, if you're going to, that's a base to build on. I keep saying that for us, it's a base to build on good defence, and it should be, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely been a major improvement from the last 2 years where we were just conceding way too many goals. Nathan Jones, when he came in midway through last season, in hindsight, he had tidied up some of the structure a little bit, but we still had players who were very capable of individual errors, and it felt like every week, Michael Hector or Terrell Thomas or the goalkeeper Harry Eister was just giving away a silly goal. So it got to a stage where the manager said himself last season that it's a personnel issue, and sure enough, he chopped and changed it. Brought in Alex Mitchell, who did very well with Lincoln last year. Got Lloyd Jones back from injury, missed spells of the second half of last year, injured. And we've looked much better defensively. So that has been the starting point. Obviously, goal scoring has been a problem at times this season. I think up until we scored 5 against the worst Northampton side you're ever going to see a few weeks just before Christmas, we were quite low down in the goal scoring ranks, and I think we've probably drawn 3 of our last 5 or 6, maybe 7, 8 games 0-0 as well, which is obviously a concern because it shows that the defensive side is there and you just need to up it a little bit. What we have got now is Miles Leeburn's come back from injury. He's big for Charlton. And we've got other players who are starting to become threats in terms of creativity that probably hadn't been all season. So, like I said, our midfield in terms of Doherty and Berry, 2 very experienced, capable players who hadn't shown it really this season, are starting to see a bit more of the ball now and starting to be part of that conversation. You've got Tyrese Campbell, who's like a winger who's been turned into a striker this season, who's getting better and better. Still playing out of position and not scoring many. He's picked up a couple though, and he's improving. But the main one for me is a chap called Thierry Small, who's a left wing back who's not been in the side much because he's second place really left wing back behind Josh Edwards, but we've had a problem on our right side, which Nathan's tried to fix with all sorts of random people, like including playing Tyrese Campbell as a right wing back, which just didn't work. And then he, like one last throw of the dice, he put the left-sided Thierry Small on the right, and it's just completely balanced the side up because Thierry can run with the ball all day. Like he's really good at that, really aggressive, really direct. And he just needed to work on his end products. But in the 5, 6, 7 games he's been playing that position, you've seen that get better. To the extent that last night up at Preston in the FA Cup, I mean, he set up the goal. We should have had an assist for an Anike header, which was really well saved. Putting 2 other really good crosses. All of a sudden, like it's just it's the threat that we needed and we didn't know we already had. So it's a little bit frustrating, but we found out now and it's working really well.
Fair enough. Did you go very strong against Preston? Was it a kind of full strength team midweek? Cool.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. Other than so I think if it had happened on the Saturday, I think the decision would have been different. Because I mean the goalkeeper changed. I'm not really sure why, but the other change was Miles Leeburn came out for Ghassan Ahadme. Now I think if this was played on Saturday when it was supposed to be, I imagine Miles might have started just because there would have been that bigger break, obviously, until we come up to you guys this weekend. But Miles came off the bench. But other than that, it was the first choice team, and you got that momentum we've built in terms of the way we've been playing over the last few weeks. Made real sense to keep it the same. And last night we were excellent. I think we let ourselves down with the 2 goals we conceded, but we went toe to toe with a championship side last night, and I think we were a better team last night. To be fair, and I'm not always one to say that. I try and be honest, but I thought we were better last night.
Yeah, it's good. One of the good things about FA Cup when you play those Prestons and things like that, it's a good. Even though you lose, it's a good measuring stick. Hopefully, where you are as a team. Right, let's finish on how do you think the game is going to play out, and what do you think the score prediction will be for Saturday afternoon as well?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one because I remember when you guys came to us earlier on in the season, and I admit I haven't checked the stats since, but I know you were the team that seemed to have like the most XG, so it feels like you don't have trouble creating chances, whether you're still not taking them or that sort of thing. And obviously, it comes up against us, a team that really stifles opposition. So, I mean, if it's anything like the home game, it will be a bit of a stalemate and quite boring, which has at times been the way we've been this season. But like I say, we're a slightly different animal now than we have been to even just before Christmas. So hopefully it'll be a bit more open. And look, I've got to back Charlton to go and get something there because I just feel there's a bit of momentum in the squad at the moment. So yeah, why not say that I think we can go up there and win it, maybe 2-1.
Fair enough. More goals than I'm anticipating, but you never know, do you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Louis. We will check all the links for the Charlton Live, so make sure you go check those guys out as well. Thank you, everybody who's watched tonight. Make sure you have subscribed and give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to put your score predictions, do so in the comments as well. We will see you all next time, and as always, up the nose.